This past weekend during his Veterans Day speech, Donald Trump gave a speech that has basically been making headlines ever since he gave the speech this week, or well, on Saturday, I guess. But anyway, this is the speech, of course, where Donald Trump referred to the vermin on the left, the dehumanizing language that, of course, has been compared to language used by Adolf Hitler. Well, one of the people that is out there that is absolutely furious about these statements happens to be late night host Seth Meyers. And in a monologue this week, Seth Meyers went absolutely scorched earth against Donald Trump in a breathtakingly beautiful piece. And I want to read you what Seth Meyers said. Now, be warned, there's profanity here, because Seth Meyers was rightfully pissed off. So if you don't want to hear the profanity, maybe it's time to turn the volume down a little bit. But here is what Seth Meyers said on the air on his late night program this week. F*** this racist doofus. Thinks he can swoop in and set up a dictatorship in 2024 despite having like 9 sets of handcuffs on him. First of all, he's surrounded by moronic criminals, criminal goons like Rudy Giuliani and Steve Bannon, who can barely string a coherent sentence together without simultaneously committing a crime. And Trump is living up to those professed plans with increasingly and openly fascist rhetoric. That's when he then played the clip, and in case you're not familiar with it, Trump said, quote, "We will root out the communist Marxist fascists and the radical left thugs like the vermin within the confines of our country. The threat from outside forces is far less sinister, dangerous, and grave than the threat from within." Seth Meyers then continued and he said, "That was supposed to be in honor of veterans. Like, which veterans are you honoring? These guys? Dude, you're a former game show host. You're not General Hux. Usually veterans want to hear something like, 'We will honor your sacrifice,' not, 'We will root out the vermin from within.'" Everybody in that audience was probably making this face, or this face, or this face. He was making faces. You know what? It's just good to have options. That's obviously fascist rhetoric, and too many Americans have become numb to it because it's Trump and he's a big, sweaty moron who can barely string 3 words together. And sometimes he dances on stage like a guy in the locker room who's trying to towel off his ball sack. But Trump is very much planning on completing his authoritarian takeover if he wins in 2024. And it's clear he's got the support of the Republican Party, which has become a movement fundamentally opposed to democracy. Now, that's the kind of speech that you would expect to see from a Democratic politician. You know, you could hear Bernie Sanders saying those words. You could hear President Biden saying them, or Elizabeth Warren, or AOC, John Fetterman, or perhaps a Keith Olbermann type. Those are not the words you would expect from a late night comedian talk show host. But he's dead on right. He is absolutely 100% correct. I want to read this again because this is so powerful. Trump is very much planning on completing his authoritarian takeover if he wins in 2024, and it's clear he's got the support of the Republican Party, which has become a movement fundamentally opposed to democracy. You think Johnny Carson ever would have said something like that? No, he wouldn't. You think Jay Leno would have? Absolutely not. These are powerful words going to a wide audience that isn't necessarily tuning in to get political news. That's why I love it when Seth Meyers does this or when Jimmy Kimmel does it. Because their words are powerful and it's reaching new people. You pay attention to politics every day. I pay attention to politics every day. The average late night show audience, member or viewer at home isn't necessarily as plugged in to politics as the rest of us are. This may have been completely new to them. They may not have seen it anywhere else, but now they have. And I love that Seth Meyers got angry about this because that's what you have to do. Sometimes you have to have that anger to get your point across. Sometimes you have to use that harsh language to get the point across because it shows that you care. And that was a powerful speech. I'm not even going to call it a monologue. That was a powerful speech by Seth Meyers, and I absolutely loved every second of it. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low, low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.